The other thing that this brought back for me is something that I also personally love, which is Sandra Bullock as a comic actress, because she is so good. I mean, she is very good across the board, but like, I mean, I feel like maybe I'm exaggerating, but like, was the last comedy that she did The Heat? Maybe. Oh, I guess no. Let me see. As an actress, I'm trying to think, because she did, Our Brand is Crisis and Bird Box and The Unforgivable, and yeah, I'm pretty sure, and Gravity, right? She did Gravity in 2013. So The Heat in 2013, I think, was probably the last comedy that she was in. This is nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I loved her in this role. It was very reminiscent of her, just from the vibe, the tone of it, from Miss Congeniality,
Yeah.
And which was
and the jumpsuit, for that matter.
Again, 100% my jam. So it was just a delight to see her in this kind of role again. And Channing Tatum is such an excellent comedic actor.
Yeah.
And, who doesn't want to watch two ridiculously attractive people be funny at each other for an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, so the film, I'll go through the plot real quick. The plot is pretty straightforward. It's not really the point of this movie, I would say, but like the plot is simple. We've got a woman who is a best-selling author of romance novels, like adventure romance novels, exactly the kind of story that is about to unfold, more or less, except for probably much less funny. Her novels don't seem like they're very funny, but she's also lonely. Her husband died. I don't know if they said specifically, but no. A few years earlier, right? And she's been alone for 4 or 5 years, it seems like, and she's kind of over it. She doesn't really want to write anymore. She doesn't really leave the house. She's kind of not. She's kind of given up.
Doing well.
She's not doing well, right? And her publicist sets up a book tour for her, and they go out and try to sell the book. It's not selling super well, probably in part because she kind of phoned in the ending, and it probably phoned in most of the whole book, to be honest. It kind of seems like. Took her a long time to finish it, all of that kind of stuff. Again, and this is a woman who she's just kind of lost her mojo across the board, right? And Channing Tatum, meanwhile, is the Fabio-like cover model for the book. And he gets invited to go to these, to conventions and to all of the book signings and all that kind of stuff too, because of course he is in demand as somebody that all of the ladies who read these romance novels would like to meet him as well. So he kind of steals the show, and she kind of hates him, and she kind of feels like he doesn't even really totally understand that he's not that character. So he's kind of playing a version of the character Dash, who's the kind of the lead archaeologist, Indiana Jones type that she wrote into the book. But anyway, this all, is a horrible disaster. But at the end of one of their conventions, that goes wildly off the rails, Daniel Radcliffe essentially kidnaps her. Not essentially, he absolutely kidnaps her.
Straight up kidnaps her.
Straight up kidnaps her and invites her to participate in an archaeological dig to find the lost city of D, which is the name of the book. And in fact, is a real, I mean, not in real life, obviously, but in the context of the movie, it is an actual lost city that she kind of referenced and, wove into the story. And the reason that he is interested in her is because her husband, her late husband, was an anthropologist, I think, or an archaeologist, and he was capable of translating
types. Like,
yes.
I think she studied history or something like that.
Yeah, I think they
go with him on digs and things like that. They apparently had a very lovely marriage. It sounded wonderful, but
yeah. And well, it again, I mean, she's very broken up about the fact that doesn't exist anymore, and that's totally understandable. Anyway, she's the only one left who can theoretically translate this language, and time is of the essence, as Harry Potter says, because there's the island is volcanic. The island that this city is on is volcanic. That's also why they were able to find the lost city in the first place, because it kind of emerged from the, from being buried, basically. But there's a clock, and which is also something that I feel like a lot of stories are missing.
Yeah. We've got to have those time constraints.
And they've got to, discover the ancient tomb of the, the leader of the whatever. Like, none of that actually matters, right? Like, none of that stuff.
They got to find the MacGuffin before
before the island blows up. That's literally it. They got to find the MacGuffin before the island blows up. And so he kidnaps her, takes her to the island, and then, Channing Tatum kind of sees her get kidnapped and then mounts a rescue, a very ill-advised for a dumb model to go mount a jungle rescue in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So that's basically the story. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but there's just so many things about it that were, for me, I mean, like, this is a family-friendly show, so there's only so much I can say about this, but let's just say the lost city of D is metaphorical.
Mm-hmm.
And that metaphor gets exploited a fair bit in the film.
Yep.
And if your comedy stylings include stuff that you would have found funny as a 13-year-old, and I can do that, then you'll probably find a lot of the movie to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of puns.
There are a lot of puns.
And
honestly, they're high quality.
They're high quality puns. And it's all like thematically consistent from her book through the whole thing. I mean, that's the other thing too, I would say, about this movie that I actually particularly liked, even though it's pretty straightforward in a lot of ways. Like, and some of the metaphorical stuff is on the nose. I don't want to misconstrue this as like the smartest movie that you've ever seen. It's not. But if you set your expectations at like, Romancing the Stone, I think is a pretty good expectation, or like one of Sandra Bullock's romantic comedies, Miss Congeniality, right? Like, I think those are really good models for this. And if you like that kind of movie, I think you'll probably like this. I don't know. I had a good time. My wife and I laughed the whole way through. We were also in a theater with a group of teenagers who came in. I'm certain that they snuck in from some other movie. And like immediately did not get it and did not get what this movie was, or did not like it. Like they had no context for this kind of romantic comedy. There's just wildly the wrong audience, and then sort of heckled it for a little bit and then left, which that was funny.
Oh my goodness.
What are you going to do? But, I mean, look, I would have stuck in whatever at, when I was in high school, but like, it's probably not for a high school crowd. Probably not.
No, no, it is not. And, like, they even sort of state who their audience is. The social media manager is talking about where she's trying to target the author's demographic, which is people in their 30s who wish they were in their 20s. And right. That's kind of who this movie is for.
There were an awful lot of things like that, which were just really, to me, they were just sort of sharp, which was like, I'm your new social media manager. We're targeting teens, but what that actually means is, people in their 30s who wish they were in their 20s. And it's like, yeah, that's probably accurate.
That's
like,
accurate.
It's not. And also like the publicist Nana,
Yeah, absolutely. So good. But like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's, it is simply a delightful, funny, charming movie all around. They clearly read Blake Snyder's Save the Cat. They hit every one of those beats.
Sure did.